Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name's Andy, Corporate Commander TFW, and I'm joined this week by the Mata Nene. It's Mike G133. Mata Nene. I love that video.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. Dum-bum-bum-bum. No, it's the one where she's just saying Mata Nene over and over again. I really like that. I don't know why, but the words Mata and Nene work really well together.
Well, it's matinee and nene.
Yes. Oh, I know.
There's your answer.
Yeah. But she says it with such conviction.
She added an extra syllable.
Yeah. It works. It walks real well, son. How's it going this week, Mr. Mikey?
Oh, I'm alright, no complaints. How about you?
Well, same as usual, I'd say. Complaints aplenty. But we're here today to talk about Transformers, as per usual. And there's barely any. We've got like 4 stories, 5? 5. Yay, counting. Counting's easy. But hey, that's the time we live in because there's no Toy Fair news. So yeah, news is even slower than usual because we would have had the Toy Fair stuff from earlier in the year, or at least this month, probably about nowish. But as mentioned in a previous show, they were all cancelled and never rescheduled.
I wonder if we're going to start getting those videos again from the toy designers.
You'd hope so.
They didn't go fantastically, but they weren't a bad idea.
What was the one where I live streamed it? Was it that one? Because is that the same thing?
I think so. Though there was one that was not supposed to be on in Europe, and then everyone clicked in and was just like, "Oh wait, no, we can watch it."
Yeah. I think I remember that one. Yeah, maybe it was that one that I did.
Yeah, that was Hasbro's big thing.
Yeah. No, that was the one because I got really annoyed because I was like, well, why? Why would you cut out an entire, the world basically, the rest of your market just for America for no particular reason? Yeah, they should do one of those again since they can't do a toy fair. You know, get the products out there to show to sellers and to, more importantly, the people who want to buy them. I don't know. Seems weird.
Yep.
But we're going to start off, Mr. Mikey, with third-party news, because that's how the show's format works for over these years. Starting up with Mech Fan Toys, and they're showing the MS-28 Garbage Man, which, unsurprisingly, is a legend-scaled G1 Rekgar.
Rekgar, you say?
Rekgar. What do you think of Rekgar?
He looks decent. A little flat, but I don't know if that's... I don't remember Rekgar's, design well enough. I think he was relatively round. So this guy looks maybe a bit flatter than I'd expect. But,
I think that's more in standing with his, making him transform and stuff. Yeah. I think he's more like he's slimmed down a little bit.
Also, is it me or does his back feel plain? And I'm just basing this off memories of Rekgar.
I'm trying to find a picture of just his back.
Was he supposed to have something on his back?
Just his wheel. That's it.
Oh, okay. That presumably can put it back there. But,
yeah, I mean, whenever you saw it, it was literally just a pretty much a flat surface with the wheel stuck on the back of it, and that was it. Nothing really to it.
Okay, I think he looks solid enough. He looks very articulated. Good posability, accessories make sense. I'm not particularly blown away. I mean, I think the transformation looks fairly clever, but I'm wondering if the gray makes it look better than it will in color.
Or makes it look worse, I suppose. Who knows?
I don't know. I think the grey makes everything sort of flows in fairly well, but Rekgar's asymmetrical and has quite sharp color contrast. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering that when you transform an actual, coloured figure, it's going to look a lot more like a robot lying down.
Right, I see what you're saying.
And also, as I'm looking at it, the transformation's less clever than I'm giving it credit for.
Well, it is a legend scale thing, it can only be so clever. And he's also got the problem of having to turn into a bike.
Yeah,
I will say the bike mode is a bit on the messy side as well. It looks a bit messy.
Also,
I think that's just given it the case of it trying to be a bike transformer, which we've all said in the past, especially in this scale, is not an easy thing to try and accomplish successfully.
No, it's not.
So yeah, I think it looks fine. You know, it's Rekgar. I can't say I'm ever very excited for Rekgar. I don't hate Rekgar. It's just It's Wreck-Gar. I think if this does well enough, maybe it doesn't even have to do well enough, but I think redos and slight remolds for more Junkions are probably going to be coming in the future. How many
the
more?
fact they've called this
I don't know.
recyclers makes me think that they're expecting more.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense because the Junkions were all, they all were bike transformers with slightly different looks to them, but I think they all were meant to just be Wreck-Gar at the end of the day. So that's fair enough. Fine infinity is what I say to that. That's right. He has his shield, his gun, and he's got his axe as well, which I didn't mention. I would be mildly concerned for his nipple guns, as I think everybody should be, just in general, because they, unless they're in rubber, they could snap off, legit. So
Yes. Maybe phrase that a bit better, but yes.
I'm happy with how I said that. I'm pleased enough. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see, if anybody gets this, how easy it will be to whack his nipples off, basically. Mikey, you found a story on your own this week. What did you find?
On my own. I did something on my own.
You did? No hand-holding.
No hand-holding. No, my hand. So, the Mastermade have revealed images and in-package shots of their SDT-08 Destroyer, which is their super deformed Demolisher, which is their super deformed Constructicons and Devastator. So, we get the 6 Constructicons. We also see in the box the various accessories that the guys come with. They come with guns, they come with drills for Devastator, shields, usual kit and caboodle. And also included in the box, and this is something Mastermade does a lot, is a sort of a bust, a statuette of Devastator, which if you want, you can put parts on and sort of have as an individual display piece. So if you have spare parts from the combiner mode that you're not using, like the chest piece or something else, you can put it on here. Or by the looks of it, you can probably stick the arms of Devastator on if you want to make a bust out of that. So yeah, that's just something they've done with their other things. I know they did it for their Overlord.
Right.
Which actually looked really good. And it also came with a head. If you wanted to give it a more normal sized head, you can take the head off the statuette and put it on the toy. So
it's a neat idea. It's a good idea to deal with extra accessories.
Yep, so we get, the gang, the various Constructicons, we get to see their articulation, their designs. And this is going to come in for the set of 6 with the bust and everything else at $270. And it's in March. So, obviously, if you're interested, get a pre-order in. Andy, what are your thoughts of these tiny construction men?
I don't actually remember what else these guys did. You mentioned an Overlord, but yeah,
Overlord,
they're a neat style.
God Jinrai, and I think they did Super Jinrai as well. And they did Metroplex, Scorponok, and Trypticon.
Okay, so they have done quite a few of these.
And Fort Max. I think they did Fort Max.
Right, all big things then, basically. Oh yeah, there's him standing next to a Super God Jinrai in one of the pictures lower down. Yeah, it looks neat enough. I think I prefer them in Constructicon mode rather than Devastator mode, mainly because the head is so gigantic. Overly so. I think the smaller head would be a little bit better just to balance it out, but obviously it's SD, so that's not really the point. It's interesting because they're not just directly G1, they're a stylized G1 at the very least. So again, that's a neat little push. I don't like Hook's hook.
Hook's hook. Oh,
Hook's hooks. That's weird. Or at least the image that they took of it is kind of weird. But no, it's a successful set.
More multifunctional than traditional.
Yes, whether that's designed because of the transformation or for other reasons, I don't know.
No.
Do you think we'll get this in yellow? That's the question.
I think there's a good chance, to be honest. But
it's a safe bet usually, isn't it?
I like them. I like them a lot. I am a sucker for SD in general. I think some of the vehicle modes kind of work, and I think some of them don't, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I would agree with that, yeah.
I think Mixmasters looks fun, and Scrappers looks fun.
Yes.
Who was I looking at there a second ago? As I scroll down,
Bone Crushers isn't great.
Bone Crushers isn't great, but I do kind of like how the arm works.
Okay, no, you mean the arm for Devastator? Yeah, that's good. I'll give you that.
I think it's Long Haul who I think drops the ball. Am I looking at Long Haul? Yeah, who's basically a square on treads. Or is that which one's which? Long Haul? No, that's not Long Haul. That is Bone Crusher, isn't it? So who's the one with the crane arm?
That's Hook.
No, the shovel arm. Sorry.
Oh, that's Scavenger.
Scavenger, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Bone Crushers is I'm getting confused. Bone Crushers isn't great. Scavengers is okay.
Oddly enough, both of the arms kind of have the weaker modes,
Yeah.
which I guess tells you why.
Yeah, and Long Hauls isn't great either, although it looks like you can sort of squish it to make it look less like a guy lying down. And Hooks is Hook, really.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, like I like them. I like the general style they're going for. I do like the giant head, but again, this is I would buy an Android, so yeah, they are appealing to my personal deviancies.
Yes.
And yeah, like I think it is good that you do have an option to swap it if you'd like the general look of it, but you want something a bit more in proportion. Plus, it's a nice bit. I think the statuette's a clever bit of storage.
Agreed. Yeah, it's better than just just throwing it into a box. You can make something of it at the very least.
I mean, it is expensive, but I do think you kind of get your money's worth.
How much is it?
And $270.
Okay.
So these guys are not small. They're not these guys are going to be individually about Voyager size.
Oh wow! So they're quite big for SD.
Yeah. Because Trypticon looks small, but he's quite chunky.
Right. So it's about £45 for each Constructicon at that point. So it's about maybe double the price of a retail Voyager.
No,
take.
It's more like it's 40. No, it's like €15, 15 quid, like half the price again.
I thought you said it was 270.
Yeah, I'm convert dollars. So it's dollars. So the closest thing is euros, and they're coming in at about. 30,
I see what you're doing.
They're coming in at about $30 and €30. So, in England, it wouldn't cost that much, I suppose. But it would actually once you do the shipping and everything else.
Sure.
But I like them. I like Mastermate shit.
Yeah, they seem. Do you have any though?
I've been trying to get Trypticon, but whenever I find someone who has them for a decent price, I don't have the money, and then when I do have the money, they're all I can find is eBay.
How much do they usually go for on eBay? At least the Trypticons, obviously.
Relatively good price for a Trypticon would be about 90.
Right.
And I've seen some people are looking for 200.
No, wow, that's a little bit more. That's a little bit more.
I'm willing to pay for a prestige item like that. I'm willing to pay a bit extra, but come on, guys.
So if you have one, hit Mikey up and
give it to me for free.
Yeah, that works too, I suppose. Yeah.
Also a Megatronia.
Hey,
I found a Megatronia for €130 last week.
That's decent. Brand new or used?
Brand new.
Oh wow, that is a good price.
You know why I didn't buy it?
You didn't have the money?
The shipping was $200.
Oh no, where was it coming from? Space?
Italy, I think.
Oh no.
No.
Yeah, no.
One day, I am going to cons again, and I am setting a task to any retailers I know, which is bring one of these feckers and hide her behind a counter for me. But
then do you not feel that they'll be selling it for a higher price, and you'll be like, oh, that's too much money?
Listen, it will be probably cheaper than $300.
You could hope. You can only hope. Shall I take us on, Mikey?
Yes.
All right, Super 7, Mikey. They do the things, and they're doing more of the things.
These things
you know, or we'll come to know as the Transformers Ultimates. They've been revealed. The Ultimates are Starscream, Optimus Prime, Bombshell, specifically Actionmaster Bombshell, and Banzaitron. So, apparently they've been fully revealed here. They're 7-inch in terms of scale and run under the cross-brand Ultimates line, which I have no idea what that means. Do you know what that means?
Ultimates is their Super 7 traditionally did static figures, but Ultimates is kind of their more posable figures. So they have an Ultimates line for He-Man, which is basically just the classics line again, same aesthetic, same everything. They're doing an Ultimate line for Godzilla, I believe. They've taken over the Godzilla license from NECA.
Okay.
So it's sort of they're posable figures, more or less.
Oh, they're quite expensive as well.
Sorry. As Andy dies.
Yeah. I did forget to mention they do have a load of accessories, and they are due out in the fourth quarter of this year at some point. And basically, each run for $55 if we round it up by 1 cent.
Yeah.
So they're expensive. They're not cheap at all.
No.
Now, in terms of accessories, Prime actually has some interesting ones, I suppose.
I'd agree with that.
let's have a look what he comes with. Optimus Prime comes with. Let's load up the picture. He comes with a different head, which I think is probably trying to be Action Master-ish, or at least more toy.
More toy.
versus
I
head.
would say that looks very G1 toy head to me.
I would agree. He
I
comes with
I don't
1,
remember his
2,
Action Master
3,
head.
4 different hands. Actually, 1, 2,
6 hands.
3.
Andy. It's Matt's.
4.
It's 6. He has
4
6
different hands.
Yes.
I said listen to the words different because there are sets.
No, they're not.
He has a pointy finger hand. He has 2 open hands, which are the same. He has 2 closed fists, and he has a holdy hand for a gun, which is obviously his ion blaster.
No.
There is a Spike with a yellow shirt and very light blue pants, which I don't know what that's meant to be because I don't remember Spike ever having a light blue pants or a yellow top.
Yeah, I don't get this reference. I'll be honest.
Maybe it's a miscolor
or comic thing.
Maybe I
Despite
guess.
the fact Spike wasn't really in the comics very much.
At least not this version, I'm sure, right?
He only really showed up when they did Fortress.
Okay.
But it was
He also
Buster
comes
before,
with
I
a
remember.
basketball, a jetpack, a surfboard from one of the episodes, the Matrix of Leadership, his axe, and a weird energy ribbony thingamadoo.
Yes, that is from the SOS Dino. It's the second Dinobot episode.
Oh.
One where he gets
Control
tied up by
energy.
Grimlock.
Yeah.
Where they introduced Snarl and Swoop.
Okay. Catch a giant wave as seen in the Ultimate Doom, or get him under control with energon restraints as seen in SOS Dinobot. Yeah. Yep. Energy restraints. There you go. Cool. So that's what Prime comes with. Kind of your bog standard stuff with a few extra shimmy bobs in there. Starscream. Starscream is a ghost version, because of course he is. He comes with 2 different heads. And the standard head he has. He has a normal Starscream face, a smoochy Starscream face, and a G1 toy Starscream face. He has what looks to be a holdy thing hand, 2 of those. He has 1 open hand and 1 kind of slight grasping hand, and then 2 punchy fists. He's sparkly because he's a spoopy ghost. And for Bombshell, the Action Master version, he has his weird bug thing. He has 3 sets of hands, open hands, gun holdy hands, and I think both of his weapons as well from being an Action Master. I think. They look like it anyway.
I don't really remember the Action Masters very well.
And then there's Banzaitron, who has his crab dude. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 different kinds of hands, closed hands, open hands to hold things, 1 graspy hand, and a kind of 2 fingers pointing hand, and then he has his gun as well for his crab. So, do we know how articulated these things actually are, Mikey? Because we can tell that they have shoulders, elbows, heads. Doesn't look like they've got anything below the waist, though. So
these are very badly photographed. In the listing that says highly articulated, and I was staring at this for about half an hour. So I can identify that all of them have hips, all of them have knees.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, if you look at Bombshell from the side, you can just make out the shape of the hips.
Yeah.
With one caveat, which is Optimus probably doesn't have much movement with that skirt. I think they might have waists, but I can't guarantee that. So they are articulated. They're not they would not be what I'd call highly articulated. So
no, it seems like a dubious term, especially when you consider figure arts and figure and stuff.
Whoever photographed these shouldn't.
No. They're what you call uninspired, I'd say.
Yeah, or if these are CAD models, again, shouldn't. Because these are not... Like, I had no idea these are articulated until I saw that line and really started digging into it.
No, I thought they were hard vinyl figures because Super 7 or other companies like them have done that kind of stuff in the past where it's just a solid vinyl piece with maybe 2 like joints for the shoulders, and that's been about it. So I guess we'll talk about how you think these look, because I will say I think Banzaitron looks great. It's the first time we've had this Banzaitron specifically since his original release, and it's the first time, as far as I'm aware, that we've had this Bombshell since the Action Masters release as well.
And yes, people, you can call these Action Masters. Stop asking me.
How many people actually asked you?
Last count I was at 15.
Ha. Good. They're still too expensive. They're still too expensive. $55 for each of these is still way too much, though.
I mean, since like the last time we had a Bonsaitron officially, it was a repaint of Revenge of the Fallen Bludgeon.
Not including third parties, of course.
Yeah. I mean, if you were like, okay, I've just got money to burn, would you buy the Bonsaitron?
What if I just had money to throw on the fight? Yes,
you just
I'd do it.
randomly got 50 quid in like for something that you don't have to spend on anything but what you want. Would you buy Bonsaitron?
I'd probably buy other things first, but I wouldn't say no to getting this because I do like this Bonsaitron. It looks nice. He's very bright and poppy and colourful. But I would still be very dubious about how good this is because, like you said, the photos are absolutely terrible for it. It says highly articulated, and both you and I know that that's probably a little bit of a fib. I think these I would much rather pay like half price for this. Like if it was $25, I'd still sneer a little bit, especially considering like I think the G.I. Joe classified line is about 7 inches tall, give or take. Maybe they're a little bit less.
Yeah, they're about the same scale as Lightning Collection, so yeah, they'd be about that.
Yeah, so I would expect these to be similarish priced. I don't mind that these have less articulation than those, but I'd want them to be similar because this isn't third party. Like Super 7 is a company.
Yeah,
they make toys.
The argument I've seen some people put forward is that this is going to be made out of much better materials and like it's going to be a lot heftier.
Okay, that's fair enough.
So
it's still expensive,
and
though.
I believe, like I saw this yesterday, and I cannot remember where I saw this, and that these are going to be made to order more like.
Oh yeah, I heard that as well. I think Jai brought that up in the conversation. We were all talking last night on Skype, and it was either you or Jai that said that. So these are going to be like, you're not getting these on sale.
So, I mean, if you are going to buy these guys, get the orders in now because their prices are only going to go up.
Do we know how to get them if you're not in America?
They look like there's pre-orders up on the various websites.
Okay.
I'm just clicking on one here, see if they've got. I know Super 7's website is going to have them up and available.
Mm-hmm.
They're not listed on TF Source yet. But I have seen hang on, I'm just going to double check this because I saw someone selling these yesterday, and I want to make sure I've got the right information for people if you are interested.
They are on Kapow Toys as well, if you're interested. They're £54 if you want them, so it's just a direct conversion if you want them. So that's I'd say that's even rougher, to be honest.
Yeah, well, yeah,
like 2 of them, and that's £100. It's like, oof. Or you could buy one red figure at the price of about £20. So
yeah, are they? They're not up on Super 7's website, it seems.
Oh, interesting. Maybe they're just not up there yet. I guess they'd have to be up on the main site. One would assume.
But if Kapow's got them, everyone's going to get them, which means that when they say made to order, it's not necessarily going to be individual orders. It's going to be, okay, each shop is ordering 10, say, or something like that, you know?
Yeah, and the shops will probably do whatever orders they have, then maybe a few others. But I wouldn't even bet on that, to be honest.
What do you like? So, like, you like Bonsaitron?
Yes.
What about Bombshell?
I would pay a lot less for him because I think he's visually okay. Like he is distinctly different from OG Bombshell, but I don't think he's as interesting as some of the other action masters they could have done. Like there. I mean, you know the Action Master line. There's some really weird, unique designs that never have had anything done to them, and I can't remember the names off the top of my head.
Well, like, what about the Action Master Elites? There's some good designs in there, or some weird designs in there, anyway.
There's some weird ones. I think it would be better to stick to the standard ones first.
Like, I'm just looking
I say that mainly because we already have a Scorponok. You know, there are Scorponoks out there already.
We don't need a double punch.
The only ones that really kind of stick out are basically a small Bruticus, which is the purple one, and what was his name? Whirl.
Oh, and there's Supreme.
Yeah, and again, that's just a small Omega Supreme, basically. So I think Whirl or Will, whatever his name was, that's the more unique one, which, if you wanted to go down that route, do that one first.
Yeah.
I'd much prefer to see these in the red line, though, because then they'd be affordable.
they'd be affordable.
Even if they had maybe less accessories, though I say that, I think the Starscream is comparable to the amount of accessories as the red Starscream. Like, that Starscream has notably a lot less, seemingly, than any of the other ones. Prime seems
really
to have the
unimpressed.
most.
Yeah. I'm really unimpressed. In general, I'm really unimpressed with the Starscream, if I'm honest. But,
It's lackluster. Do you think it's that much because it is translucent?
It's translucent, but there's more that head sculpt is atrocious.
It doesn't look great. I'm trying to figure out why it is the way it is, because it seems weird that there's so much coming. Like, you could say, like, the reason why Banzaitron and Bombshell's accessory count is lower than Prime's is because a lot of that plastic pound for your dollar is taken up by the Action Master crab and bug thing. Yeah. Because they're probably a big bit of plastic. So, all right, fair enough. But Starscream, he's got, I don't know, is it his wings? Is it the wings on his back that's, like, eating into his price point?
I don't know. Like, if he was a variant, that would be one thing, but
Starscream, you mean?
Yeah. Like, he ain't a variant, as far as we know. But, like, that head, it looks like someone put a Starscream hat in Thanos on the main head.
It's not even, like, cartoon accurate, which is the
weird
weird thing.
Not. And then he's got this weird Overlord kissy face.
Yeah. Again, not very Starscream.
No, I mean, it's out of proportion with his body. I don't like it. But I'm looking at other Action Masters here, and, like, I mean, I think good ones would be, if you want to do Autobot ones, Skyfall and Kickoff.
Let's check Skyfall.
Yeah. And Croc, I think, would be an obvious one to do.
Yeah, Croc's an obvious one. Yeah.
Treadshot wouldn't be bad.
Skyfall, I'm 100% behind because he's got really good design. Kickoff, he's not bad. Which was the one that looked like Wheeljack a little bit, and he came with a vehicle.
Wasn't that just Wheeljack?
No, because there was a Wheeljack one.
Oh, because I remember the car. There's a car, but I always thought that came with Wheeljack.
Was there It wasn't Rumbler, was it? No, Rumbler would also be a neat one. Rumbler would be okay. I'd be alright with that. Oh, Rollout. Do you remember Rollout?
Yeah, I remember Rollout.
Rollout's got really good design. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Mainframe, of course.
Mainframe, classic.
Gut Cruncher. That was his name.
Gut Cruncher. I remember Gut
Cruncher. Yeah, if you wonder people, he came with the transforming plane. Well, quotations transforming, but you know, you let these things go. Circuit, there's another one.
Slicer, that's who you're thinking of. The Wheeljack.
No, it wasn't Slicer. It was Gut Cruncher. I was thinking of Gut Cruncher.
Gut Cruncher came with, I think Gut Cruncher came with that toy, but you were saying there was a Wheeljack?
No, that was the one I was thinking of, because he looks slightly like Wheeljack.
No, he doesn't.
He does. He has a similar kind of face.
Oh, he does. Yeah. I'm just looking at it. But Slicer is the one that is literally Wheeljack.
Yeah. No, he is the repaint, yeah.
And is a toy that we should have gotten in more paint schemes.
Many times over. Many times over. I mean, there's at least one Wheeljack out at the moment. Is there an Earthrise Wheeljack out or coming out soon?
Yes, I believe so. There is.
And yet the only ones we've had of that Wheeljack mold are Exhaust, and that's cute.
There's a version of him that's like Energon Wheeljack from something.
It's Prime.
Yeah, maybe. I'm gonna look.
Yeah, I remember they did in the Transformers Prime line. They did him into Slicer. And they put him into the like Amazon exclusive range. They had like 4 or 5 figures to it, and that was about it.
Yeah, Wheeljack Dark Energon version. They did.
That's the one.
It's
really annoying.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because Wheeljack's in Shattered Glass. I'm assuming he's got Slicer colors.
You'd think so. Maybe they didn't do that.
I love a parade.
Oh, Takeoff would be another cool one.
Yeah, no, he's got Slicer colors, but he's a repaint of Downshift from Energon.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah. Again, third-party companies doing these as transforming toys could be interesting as well. These Action Masters and making them into something.
Yeah, repaint one of your third-party Wheeljacks, of which I'm sure there is at least one.
I'm sure.
Into Slicer.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Make me happy. Croc is easy enough to do. Like, do a line of third-party Action Masters. People will genuinely buy them because it's the one thing people will stop complaining about transforming for.
Yeah, you can either do one of two things when you go down that route. You can either just do them as Action Masters and have their weapons do the transforming and just make them really good, highly articulated figures, or you could give them each individual transforming modes, and then you look at some of them and you go, okay, this guy's orange and white. He's this kind of shape. What can we kind of infer from it? Because that was the thing with Action Masters. You could always infer that they transformed into something.
Yeah.
It was just figuring out what they transformed into.
Yeah.
And then going, yes, they don't actually do that.
What do you think
I prefer that more.
Yeah, definitely. What about Optimus? He's the last one we haven't really touched on.
Wow, he's G1 Optimus Prime. I sure would have liked to have seen the Action Master one, but I totally get why they didn't do it.
Yeah. I like the head and the Action Master a lot.
Same. I like the chest as well. Again, we talked about that last night.
He looks a bit like Star Convoy, when you think about
it. Yeah, he's got a much more anime look to him. Rather than just another G1 Prime, which, me and Mikey have said this countless times, and because of the way the market is, we'll probably have to say it countless more times. We understand why it's an Optimus Prime, but it'd be nice for something else.
Yeah.
There's more than just Optimus Prime. I would have even gone for Jinrai or Super Jinrai. That could have been interesting.
That'd be nice. I kind of I really like the accessory count. These are the the fun accessories on Optimus, because Masterpiece used to do fun accessories.
Yeah, and then they stopped.
Then
they put in weird things.
Yeah, I would the basketball is more iconic to me than giving me a Starscream head.
Yeah, you know what? I would have even been allowed them to have been cheap and had a snowball. Because that one again could have been fun.
Or the surfboard would be fun, or something like that. There's a lot of stuff about... That was always weird to me. That was what Masterpiece referenced. That one scene where it turns out it's so now you have a Masterpiece Starscream, kids.
Yeah. It's not a terrible idea, but when you could have had things like this, I think this was better. I think the issue with some of the Masterpiece toys is they try and do accessory counts, and there's nothing for them to work with. But at least with G1, there's lots, because G1 was fucking stupid sometimes.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
There's things.
So be dumb. Give me another Grimlock with a waistcoat. Or a tray and everything else. Something that has me a little nervous about these, if I was buying them, is how it seems like the hand connection works.
Yeah, it's not ball joint. It seems to be a disc.
Yeah, it looks like there's a disc that's embedded in the arm, and then you'll clip this on. I would be a little concerned about stability for that.
Same. I don't know, are those, could you
It's
knock
not
those
Figma
off?
Peg worrying me, but...
No.
Which is the thing. If anyone doesn't know, if you're buying Figmas, be very careful with hands.
Well, the older ones, they stopped doing that kind of connection with future Figmas. But I know what you mean, 100%. Yeah, those things are dicey.
When I got that big box of the Ryuki Riders, I was just like,
Scary times.
Scary times. But... I found Nakane during the week, and it's not the one with all the deluxe stuff. And I'm torn.
Then it doesn't matter.
I'm torn because that thing is fucking dear.
Yeah, but you want the desk.
I do want the desk because I'm going to put Optimus at it.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to wait. So it doesn't matter. It could be a $10 Akane on her own, but if she doesn't have the desk, then it's worthless.
I could build a desk.
No, you couldn't. Don't lie.
Yeah. These are weird because they are very, it's posable figures. Bandai-tron and Bombshell are referencing something that we don't really get. I think it's the fact that I think they're not being advertised well, like I said, with the visually, and the fact that with the two G1 characters, they went very, very safe. And Starscream's something I would buy, I wouldn't buy as a variant,
Yeah.
And he has that weird fucking head.
Hey, at least with doing this, it means that we'll get more Seekers.
Yay! See-through Thundercracker. Listen, if they do Thundercracker and they just stick a dog in and don't tell anyone why, sure. But they ain't going to do that.
It's unlikely. What would you do if they did? Would you be tempted to buy it then if they did?
Listen, they could do actiomaster Thundercracker. I'd buy that. In all honesty. Because... fuck, why not?
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's another Gridman toy off the record.
List. Yeah.
But so anyway, I suppose we move on from here.
Yeah, do you want to take us on to Cyberverse, Mr. Mikey?
Yeah, this is short enough, but we have According to CFW, they received press material containing the titles and synopsis of the upcoming Cyberverse TV movies, which led to a wonderful talk of people complaining about cartoons.
Well, hang on, what was the complaining about?
This isn't made for me. Like,
what do you mean?
You know what for some reason in the last couple of days, a latent Thomas the Tank Engine fandom has risen from the ground, complaining about this is not what I remember from 40 years ago.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing about Cyberverse. Just like, oh god, it's not as good as my show was. Just like, I mean, probably better than most of your shows was, but let's be honest, as much as I love the franchise, we have had some stinkers.
I mean, Thomas.
Yes, my deep love affair with Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, I didn't know it was an affair. Oh my god.
Well, yeah, I have to use them for something.
Oh my god. Is this why he was bricked into a tunnel?
That's why he's always smiling.
He is. No matter what you do to him. Jesus.
But yeah, so if you didn't know, Thomas the Tank Engine is getting an official reboot for the first time in 70 years, and people are at loggerheads, shall we say?
For some reason.
It's interesting to watch. Very confusing. I didn't realize there was a Thomas fandom. Like, I could...
No, it's interesting, I suppose.
Yeah,
I can kind of understand it, in a way.
Yeah, I get it for, like, the models.
Yes.
And everything else. Like, if you said, like, I've been collecting Thomas the Tank Engine trains for 40 years or 30 years or 10 years or whatever, that I get. Like, yeah, okay, cool. That the fiction, the modern fiction and the continuity of the fiction is that important to you.
Yeah, that's the part I find it harder to believe.
Did you flip out when they stopped calling him the Fat Controller?
I mean, I got a little bit annoyed, to be honest, when I heard that. I was like, but he's fat.
The rotund director. But, it was like, this is just for, like, okay.
No, it's
cool.
the diabetes director.
Oh, God.
Oh,
That's
no.
terrible. Oh, God, you're a monster.
I know. I'm trying to help him. He's got a problem, Mikey. I'm trying to save his goddamn life.
I'm trying to save you, boy.
I just want my sausages, Thomas. You gotta stop, Fat Controller. Don't call me that. Don't body shame me.
I'm not fat. I'm round.
I'm husky.
I'm the size I need to be.
Then you have a training montage where Thomas is not Rocky. He's the other one, Paulie, and the Fat Controller does the Rocky montage. That'd be great. There you go. There's an episode title for you, and it promotes health. Boom.
Yeah, but then like someone punches out one of the other trains and murders them, and Thomas goes on a vengeful rampage.
I was gonna say the episode ends where you find out he is husky, like the Kingpin from the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s. Oh God! Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm just gonna say, like, something that's always bothered me about that. It's not that they said it turned out the Kingpin is basically a sumo wrestler with very little actual like body fat. It's the fact that he's squeezing a man who can lift a car over his head and is somehow stronger than him.
I remember the scene from the 90s cartoon where he's bear hugging Spider-Man and he says, I'm not fat, it's pure muscle. And as a kid, I was sitting there going, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no.
I love the PS4 game. I love it.
Yes.
But that first boss fight where you're knocking Kingpin through like buildings and he's beating the shit out of you, and I'm just like sitting there going like, listen, man.
He's died.
I'm along for the trip, but come on.
He did. He's just a man.
He's a man, not a god.
Yeah. One punch from Spider-Man and Kingpin just explodes.
Yeah. No joke.
Yeah. Woof. But yes,
sorry, point I believe in
what's that?
Which I believe is a plot point that led to the whole Superior Spider-Man thing.
I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah,
because like there's a moment where like, why am I getting so many head injuries? You're being punched by Spider-Man. Is he that strong? Yes.
Oh my, yes.
He hurled back a lot.
Yeah, spiders are pretty strong. If they were human-sized, they'd be pretty fucking scary. I mean, they're still pretty scary.
Yeah, no, they're not my favorite thing in the world.
No. But you were talking about specifically the issues people had with this cartoon.
Yes.
The movie Cyberverse.
They basically have, to be blunt, I think they just haven't watched it because they're going on about it being very childish and nothing ever happens in it. And I'm just like, they killed someone like 10 episodes in. Really
unpleasantly. Season 1, it was kind of. I would agree that not a
lot
happened in like season 1.
Yeah, but like shit happens. I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where I prejudged it as well, but then I watched it.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, give it a chance, man. I'm not judging. I am. But as I said during the week, I'll never judge people. You just have to accept I'm right. So the two movies. The first one is going to be called The Immobilizers. And the current these are such detailed synopsises. The entire planet of Cybertron becomes frozen in time.
What else happens?
That.
Okay.
This is a 44-minute movie, so
I hope there's a resolution.
nope. And the next one is called The Perfect Decepticon. The peace treaty between Autobots and Decepticons is put to the test.
Okay. Unless they play Sudoku.
Just Soundwave and Hot Rod trying to get everyone to agree with each other.
Yeah.
But, which I would honestly watch. So these are both going to be 44 minutes long. We don't have any release dates. I went back and checked all the rumors and seeing how everything was lining up, and the rumors from October all match pretty perfectly with what we've heard officially.
Okay.
Or from the Walmart leaks. So I would say, like, this is going to be where the Dinobots are coming in. This is going to be where Megatron X is a big factor. And presumably because they call one the Perfect Decepticon, the Tarn robots are coming back.
I mean, that makes sense, yeah.
Because that's what they were called.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll get a Cyberverse an official Tarn toy via Cyberverse.
Oh my god.
That's a sentence no one ever thought they'd say.
Yeah, and people will be so pissed if it's not a deluxe one, if it's one of the gimmick toy ones.
Yeah,
everybody
it
will be
will
like,
be.
oh, for fuck's sake, I'll buy it
Absolutely
anyway. I
will
hate
be.
it, but I'll buy it.
Yeah, and it's just like, I hate this toy. I hate everything it stands for. But it's my boy.
And I'll buy it anyway.
This is my child. He never meant any harm. He meant
And yet
quite a
here
lot
I
of
am.
harm. He meant
Yeah.
quite a lot of harm.
A little bit of harm.
I loved how mad people got when he murdered one of the DJD. And everyone was like, why would he do that? Why? He's a drug-addicted zealot.
Yeah. He's not a nice guy, guys.
You made
Come
him
on.
a nice guy. He's not
Yeah.
a nice man.
Yeah. Wow, this villain was a villain. Who knew?
This man in a group that horrifically tortures people because they don't agree with every word they say isn't friendly?
Yeah. I guess maybe you could say that the mixed message started coming when they had the nickel inclusion.
Nickel is a problem.
Yeah, because people don't see nickel as a problem. They see nickel as a, like, there's nothing wrong with nickel. and
She's
it's
an
like,
adorable
no.
granny who helped people eat people's brains.
Yeah, again, people kind of brush over that, though, don't they?
Maybe they shouldn't.
Yeah, but they do. And there's me and you standing there going, I don't know, Nickel's a horrible person.
Yeah, she's a monster.
Yeah.
She's a tiny submarine monster.
Mm-hmm.
And more people should realize that and not think it's cute when she hits on Roller.
Yeah,
Like, she'd probably murder him in his sleep with his own feet.
probably.
Then again, a Roller's a blank void, so who cares? Anyway, Andy, we don't really have anything else to add to that, so take us on.
Sure, I mean, the last bit of news is a very quick one. HasLab Unicron, possible shipping date. So it's
Hang on.
possible. It's not.
HasLab
it's not
will
confirmed.
travel.
What?
HasLab will travel.
Where will they travel?
I don't know, it's just, has something, will travel.
Oh, I get you.
I'm funny.
Okay. I'm happy for you.
My mummy told me I was funny 15 years ago.
So theoretically, this isn't theoretically. According to information shared, does it even say by who? It's got a hyperlink. Let's click to the hyperlink. Oh, hyperlink from Robot Kingdom. It doesn't really say where they get their leak from, but apparently the Chaos Bringer Unicron, the big thick boy.
Why
which
did you
everybody
say
thinks-
it like that? The Chaos Bringer.
Because it's like, he's been bringing it since the 80s, and he's never brought it. The closest he brought it was the IDW comic.
Are you Are you throwing shade at Unicron?
Yeah,
for not
fuck off.
murdering the universe?
Yeah, well, I mean, you've seen the amount of times Unicron's been brought into Transformers, and he's not been what he's lived up to, right? Do you remember the Unicron Trilogy?
Vaguely.
Where did he ever bring it in that? I mean, he wasn't even in the third one.
That's because it wasn't part of a trilogy, but that's a different thing.
Who knows why? It's preposterous. Preposterous.
That's because they said we wanted it that way and we wanted to dub it that way, so we're going to.
Yeah, what a time.
And also, everyone's got really fucking weird accents.
which get weirded by Galaxy Force.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cybertron.
Yeah.
I always call them by the Japanese names.
Why were they all Australian?
I don't know. They all got very Australian by the end. But anyway, Unicron's apparently meant to be shipping tomorrow. Tomorrow being the 1st of February, being today if you're listening to this podcast when the podcast goes out. So whether that is official, I guess we'll find out literally on Monday to see if that's actually came around and happened or not. Maybe it'll be delayed. Doesn't guarantee that yours are going to be shipped out. And I assume that this just means they'll be shipped out to wherever they're going. I don't even know. Are people getting these directly? Are these going to shops and then going to people? I don't know. It depends how you bought it, I suppose. And that's it. That's our news. Mikey, do you have any thoughts on Unicron finally arriving? Because I know you went in and you bought one, didn't you?
Oh, 17. I bought so many. Yeah. One thing I would really like to know, and this is a real question that I would like people to give me real answers for.
It's not a sarcastic one.
No. How much is the shipping costing on this?
Oh, don't ask that.
I want to know. I really do want to know.
I don't think you do.
I do.
How much
was
Unicron on his own? I can't remember. Was he 500 or something?
450, 500, I think.
Is that?
No, he was more than that. He was more like 6 or 7.
Dollars or pounds?
Dollars. I'm not doing conversion, Andy.
No, I can remember.
Because I know there was at least one outlet where it was 800.
Oof. I mean, the shipping's got to be at least £50.
Like, how much was he up on BBTS?
I mean, when I say £50, I mean shipping to the UK or to Ireland.
Yeah.
In the US, it'll probably be like, I don't know, 20.
850 was his price on BBTS.
Oof. Yeah. Yeah, it has to be pushing you up to 1,000 if you're ordering from overseas, surely.
I mean, even before you hit customs.
Oh, yeah. And it's going to get hit by
and
customs.
A million other things.
I mean, that's a fucking... That's a crate coming through.
People are going to look at that and wonder, have you actually shipped a child?
Yeah, pretty much. Here's a question as well. Are they going to package the boxes? Because technically the box is collectible.
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Or are they going to do an Amazon where, if you remember the Galaxy Odyssey stuff, they just kind of slapped a sticker on that. People quite rightly got annoyed at Amazon for just doing that.
Yeah. But yeah,
just because it's in a box doesn't mean that it just ships directly out. Oh, it shouldn't just ship directly out.
Ideally, this will ship inside a well-packaged, well-protected box. Like, this should have a cover. This should have a cover slip over it. Should have a bit of padding around it, and should be in another bigger box.
For the amount of money you're paying for us, that I would say so as well. I
come insured. In all honesty, you should have insurance on this.
I guess it really depends how the Jabba's Palace barge was done, because I don't know how that was shipped or anything like that.
Not an ocean.
It'll probably just be a similar way that they did that, I would guess. I don't know. But yeah, I'm sorry, everybody. Well, I'm sorry for your wallets and your bank accounts, whoever went in. I'll be interested to know if any of our listeners got one, and what they think of it whenever it kind of crops up in their home.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
I'll definitely be looking out for reviews on this guy one way or the other. But
oh yeah, because it's going to be an event, and I think we're going to have a lot of people huffing and grunting as they try to transform it, because it's big. It's very big, and it's going to be a real faff to transform. I guarantee it. I'd prefer the one Jobby had, to be honest, whoever did that one.
Oh God, the one that got cancelled and then came back, and for all the advertisement shots, they pretended it was someone else.
That's right.
Mistransforming the head.
That's the one. If I was going to get a Unicron, it'd be that one.
Yeah. I nearly bought Cybertron Unicron off the Toy Food thing.
The deluxe one.
Yeah.
It's not a bad figure, actually.
I've always had one of the first Transformers I ever actually bought, to be completely honest. It got lost in a move. I realized, I looked at my shelf and just like, between selling stuff off to pay for various other crap and a million other things, I've got relatively few Transformers on the shelves these days.
I believe that, yeah. Well, you did a big clear out ages ago at one point, didn't you?
Yeah. Like, it's become like what I really love. Like, the stuff I have now is what I really love. So,
and Gundam,
and which I am. To be fair, like, apart from the Astray, there's nothing I don't like of that.
Well, no, but with that, it's more like it's not just buying a figure; it's more the building experience as well.
Yeah. And
so it's more of an event in a lot of ways.
Don't forget Zoids.
Oh yeah, of course.
And a basic Motoroid. And I've spent more money on figures in the last year than I have in the last 5.
Well, I mean, that's a good segue over to what you did this week, Mikey, because there's literally no other news.
Well,
so,
I didn't spend... I've actually saved quite a bit of money in the last couple of weeks.
Ooh, la-dee-da.
Because I haven't done anything, but I did spend money. I did spend quite a bit the day before yesterday. But I got a tax return, actually. In all honesty.
Oh wow! Look
So
at
I
you paying your
decided to do
taxes.
so I don't get arrested. But I put in like, so as I've said, and I showed this on Twitter as well. I have the Flametoys G1 Optimus Prime, and I want to try customizing it into a figure. Originally, I was going to do Toxitron.
Yeah, so you're going to do a good move, the right thing.
But then I realized that that's me literally ripping off Flametoys.
I don't see what the problem is.
I want to be original. Well, not original. I'd be doing my own paint scheme. But I'm colorblind, as Gundam Breaker has taught me. Considering my main Gundam is pink, lime green, and white.
Yay!
But so I'm going to try turning it into Nova. So I've bought the paints for that, and primer, and the alligator sticks and a clip and everything. So I don't know when they're due to ship. I bought them all in Ireland, but with the way our shipping is at the moment, who knows? I'm just going to keep an eye on it and see how it goes. And I will probably fuck this up because I've never tried this before, but I'm going to put a lot of research in beforehand, so at least I know how I'm fucking up. And yeah, I'll probably do like a short little series of photos as I'm going through to show how well or terribly that's going. I got the last couple of my Christmas purchases. They arrived. I haven't opened them, so I've got the real grade crossbone and the tall geese.
Right.
So I haven't built them or anything, but they're there now, and I'm looking forward to going into them because they're, from everything I've read, they're like two of the best ones from at least that run of the series.
I'd agree.
I saw a review of the Zeong yesterday, and that looks bizarre.
I mean, it's always a weird suit. I wouldn't get it because it is literally missing its legs because that's its design.
Yeah, and there's going to be another one, that's got the legs, isn't there? Like,
I don't know if they're doing it for the real grade. I mean, there is another version which is like, what if it was complete?
Yeah, but I'm thinking like the real grade, from what I can tell, always tries to get at least one or the use out of every mold.
That's true. I don't know whether they do that or
Bandai.
if they would do like an accessory upgrade kit for it, because they've done that before as well, to be fair.
Yeah. As long as they don't do that really, like... No, you could... I know there's another Zeong, like, derivative, that's that big, massive mech suit one. But that you couldn't turn, like...
From where?
I think it's Unicorn?
No, it's completely different. It's completely different from the Zeong. It's not the same at all.
Okay, I know it's like technologically this, like, on the line.
Yeah, no, it's not the same because it's a lot bigger. Lot bigger.
Yeah,
you could fit a 1:1 44 scale in it.
The one with the legs is called the Perfect Zeon.
Yes, because it's inventive.
Because it can walk.
That's right.
So yeah, they're here. I finished building the Legolas.
Oh,
Legolas. So if you want, like, having built it now, if you wanted to custom a Gundam into an Eva, this is the perfect suit. Like, the lines and everything else scream Evangelion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Even, like, the face doesn't have a screaming, roaring face, but it, again, has a really, really Eva-style face. It was an enjoyable build. I added a bunch of yellow to it to make it pop a bit more, but I enjoyed the build, and it was a fun experience. I really like how easily it looks monstrous. Like, I took a bunch of photos, and they were basically, like, trying to make it look like it was freaking out and about to murder everyone. And it's got that big cannon that functions as a tail. It's got dragon wings. Like, the whole Wagen, like, aesthetic, I just enjoy. So I think it's like, and this is basically just like one of their suits upgraded with a new head. So the problem with it is it has several stability problems. Legs work fairly well, but the hips have very limited range. Yeah. But the problem is basically, from what I can tell, and this is the problem with a lot of the Wagen suits, is that they all work off the same base 2 or 3 kits, and each of those kits had stability problems.
Right.
So the wings and the arms come from, I believe it's that weird dragon one. The wings, definitely. I think the arms either come from the dragon or the Goffrin. And one arm is fairly tight. One arm, the wrist is a little bit limp, so I can't put a beam saber in it. The wings are really nice to move and everything else, but their attachment to the body is very, very loose. And it doesn't have great waist articulation. It's one of those things where I think once you get into a display pose, it'll look really, really cool. but you probably won't really want to do anything else with it. So I've got it like in a launching pose. I'll probably put it into something else at some point soon, just to free up space. But I like it was a good build. I like the design. It's just one of those things where I can like I didn't find this with the Darkhound, but I do find it with this. Like there's stability issues, and it's just like listen. There's always going like every toy line has this.
Yes.
Like a design you like where you're just like, okay, I really like experiencing it, but there's something about having you in hand that makes it less than A+.
Sure, yeah.
So one of those ones where like, I'd say buy it if you actually want to do that Ava custom. Otherwise, I might think it's worth a skip.
Yeah, until maybe one day, maybe if they do another one.
Age kits, go with the Darkhound. Go with something that's not derived from those Vaughan suits. And
unfortunately, because they've got the more interesting suit designs, I would say.
Yeah, I was very lucky finding the Darkhound because, like, I find most of the age suits a bit boring.
Yeah, no, I think
even though
fair.
One of them's basically like an anime muscle man, but the Titus, I think it is.
Oh, is that the normal age Gundam, but with the red armor on it?
Yeah.
It's an interesting look. It's just like
it's just
It's a Gundam.
It's a Gundam with big arms.
Yeah.
But TV and stuff wise, I finished playing Yakuza 2.
Woo!
So that is a very solid 7 or an 8.
Oh, that's not a huge game point for what you were. I think you were suggesting you liked it a lot more last time, right?
0 and 1 are both very close to being, if not being, 10 out of 10 games.
Ooh.
In my opinion.
Wow.
This game looks fantastic. It's enjoyable to play. The story's good. The characters are likable. Everything. It's just not up there with the other two.
Right.
The combat is fun, but it's not as fun as the first one. And it's got a weird thing with physics that I found very distracting at times, where you'll sprawl or an enemy will sprawl, and just like you're not supposed. The body doesn't move like that. The side missions are really fun, but feel more unnecessary this time around.
Right.
Even though there's some really like the Kiryu voicing Yaoi was a blast, but which is ironic because Kiryu's voice actor got his start in Yaoi and apparently still does it.
Do the V Shoujo girls know?
I don't know. I hope they know. But and the story is the 0 and 1, but all the main characters, all playable characters, are tightly invested in it. Very personal, antagonist, protagonist, all tightly related to them. Here, Kiryu's kind of living someone else's story. Because really, it should be Daigo's story, who's one of the new characters in it. But Daigo doesn't do a lot in the story, and it becomes kind of a what's her name? Sayawa's, I think it's how you say it, in Karu's story becomes hers, but then that kind of gets subsumed into a bit of a romance thing. And Kiryu isn't involved because of someone he knows or some tight emotional investment. He's involved because he feels a bit guilty for the last game. And his daughter Haruka, she's got a much reduced role in this. And it's not personal for him this time around, you know? And that, like, he's such a good character when you give him something to work against. And I think they needed to have him have more investment in it than a sense of duty to his old Yakuza friends.
Okay.
Majima is fantastic. There's actually a second game mode where it's not actually a very great game mode, but all the cutscenes and the writing are brilliant because it's just Majima being every version of Majima you can think of, and he's fantastic. I said one of the things I like about Majima is that he's acting in front of everyone, no matter who he seems to be. So like he's great in the main game. He's a lot of fun, and I think they get a nice balance between him as this wild card who's always on your side, and this guy who's actually a lot tougher and more serious than he lets on. He's got a really cool moment where he basically takes out an entire clan on his own off screen. But yeah, so it's one of those things where it's a really solid game. It's just I'm measuring it against the other two.
Yeah. And it doesn't hold up quite as well as those ones.
No. And I am considering I can't get the next 3 for less than 60. I probably won't be buying them anytime soon until a sale drops them down or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Are they fairly new ones? Those 3.
Well, it's 3, 4, and 5. Well, it's 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
6 you can get for like 15 or 20, but I'm not playing them out of order. And 3, 4, and 5, they've only existed in remastered versions, and the remastered versions, like, it's not cheap.
Right.
And then, listen, I really like this world. I really like these stories. I don't need to, like, completely weigh myself down by rushing through it. It's not Netflix. Yeah, TV-wise, I watched ReZero, new episode of ReZero. Probably the weakest, but it's not because of the content, it's because of the style. It's a flashback episode, and specifically it's a flashback to my childhood episode, which is just, they're not my thing. They never have been. And it's basically, it's Amelia's childhood. We learn about her aunt and her mother and a guy I did not see coming involved. Like, when I say, like, oh, I think it was weaker, it still got those moments where it's just like, why are you here?
Yeah, sounds interesting.
It's a character you're very familiar. I won't spoil it for you, but when you see who it is, you will be a little surprised.
Is it Goku?
It's not Goku.
Is it Vegeta?
Oh god, I wish it was Goku. And it certainly ends on a dramatic note of just like, oh shit. But it's good. Echidna's is there constantly sniping.
Okay.
Like, she hates her. She fucking
wow.
hates her. Which is all really feeding into a thing which I'm finding it much harder to escape from, which is somehow, I think Amelia's going to turn out to be Satella.
I mean, that's what the theory's been for a while now.
Yeah,
though, right?
but it's like, but I've kind of thrown it out because time travel, because she would somehow have to go back 400 years before she was born, and do all this shit. And I think that's what's going.
You know,
I think she's going to. I think something is going to happen because, like, there's these little references I'm picking up on. It just like, that sounds like something Subaru did. That sounds like something Subaru did. Like, this woman knows more than she should. Oh god, time travel nonsense. Oh god, which would also explain why Satella shows up in one of the loops from last season.
Right.
But anyway, that's just me buying into the fandom theorying. But yeah, ReZero continues to be an excellent show. Did not win Crunchyroll's best anime, from what I understand. Was beaten by a shonen. Clearly, there is no
shonen?
god. Don't care. No god.
No, I want to know what shonen. I want to know who was silly. What
I
got
don't know.
it?
Like, I watched a video
Dr.
of it,
Stone
and it
or
was just
something?
like, there was like 4 options, and it's just like shonen. Like, ReZero wasn't even in the running.
Wow.
ReZero was up for best fantasy. Feels like saying, like, all those animated films that should have been winning best picture are up for best animation.
Yeah, I would be interested to see hear what it was that beat it.
I saw
Shonens.
I saw this because it was an ad on a YouTube thing.
Yeah, and it annoyed you, and thus you didn't go and
like,
investigate any further. That makes sense.
Hi. And if not, why not? So yeah, ReZero. Watch the next episode. I can not pronounce the entire name of him. It's the one about the weakling from the very strong village.
Oh yeah, I remember you mentioned that one last week, didn't you?
Which is very fun and very dopey. I like it. Very good animation. Has an interesting take. Kind of plays a bit like One Punch Man in some ways, but I think with better humor. In all honesty, wackier humor, but I think better, because I liked One Punch Man for what it was, but for honest, we liked One Punch Man because the animation was excellent.
So people like the humor and whatnot in it as well, which is why they went on to season 2. But they dropped the animation dramatically for season 2, and I think there's a reason why no one talked about it.
I would also say that One Punch Man falls into the trap of becoming what it's parodying, which was it became a rather straight-laced shonen show.
Yeah, I think one season's clearly enough for that show, but for me anyway. There are some other people who still liked it, but
listen, I don't agree with everyone about anything, do I? But no, that's a fun show. Watch next episode of Jobless Reincarnation, which came out today. Bit of a weird one. Don't know how I feel about it yet. Does it complete, like, basically in the first 10 minutes, your perception of one character is completely upended. And like, he's gone from endearing to, as the show keeps on calling him, actual scum. But because of who the main character is, he's kind of like, well, he's scum, but like I'm a 40-something-year-old someone in a 7-year-old body, and I was pretty scummy as well, so it's not like I hate him or anything. I still respect him for what he's able to, but I'm not going to hide from the fact that he's a shithead. Also, but they're like, it's done in a way which is a bit odd. Like, hey, we find out about a rape, and it's done in a throwaway line.
Oh, okay.
Which was weird. But yeah, it's a bit weird, and it's that. What's weird about it is it's actually still quite well written. And I liked all the characters and how they engage with each other in it. And there's a fun ending that has the first real fight scene in the show and makes me think like the animation for this is going to be really well done for fights. But it's just like, you've completely upended my opinion of someone, and you're not... After you've done that, you've kind of moved on, and I haven't. Although it does lead to the laugh out loud, oh my god, I had to take a minute off watching the show moment. I loved it. It's a very silly joke involving kicking, but I loved it.
Okay.
I still like it. Like, I'm not saying it's taken away from my enjoyment of the show. It's just like, it's a strange thing. It's a strange thing. Like, you suddenly realize that the world is being filtered through someone who is becoming a better person, but it was actually quite a shitty one.
Right.
So it really drives home the fact that you're seeing it through his perspective now. Which is odd, because I think up until now it's kind of assuming it was the usual, okay, other world, I'm actually a decent guy, I was never given a chance kind of thing. And it's just like, you're an okay guy, and you were given a chance. Mm-hmm. This is just giving you another chance. And the last thing, Back Arrow, the mech show I've been watching, which had another strong episode. Another pretty solid episode where there was a big twist at the end. Don't know how it's going to play out going forward. There's a nice fight scene. There's some goofy ass we should be a Sentai team guys in it. The opening's evolving, so there's some new visuals in the opening which are really nice.
Ooh, okay. I like when they do that with an anime. I think it's neat.
Yeah, and I found out a few things about the actual production of the show, and I really can't, like, it's super spoiler heavy this episode at the moment, so it's actually really hard to discuss. But so the show is what I was saying, it feels really retro. I found out why. It's being written by the guy behind Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill.
Oh, so it should be good then.
Yeah, not bad pedigree.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a 24-episode series.
Ooh.
So they will actually have time to do stuff.
Will they, though?
I mean, okay, like, I was about to say, like, he did the other shows, but Gurren Lagann has that 8-arc structure that drives me nuts. Yep. But, like, every arc is 8 episodes.
God damn it.
No one gets developed except Simon.
Yep.
And it's a good show, but it's never been the show people told me it was. But
I enjoyed it, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. But hey, Kill la Kill.
Woo!
You can't say anything there, can you?
It was objectifying women.
I really I will
that's
always
what,
argue
that's what people
that.
say.
I will always argue that, because yes, but also no. It's a weird thing. It is like, behold the titties. These titties don't matter.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of get past the titty. If you don't get past the titty, then you're the problem here.
It was a weird show, but it was also one of the best TV series I've ever seen.
It was a lot of fun.
It's amazing and has some of the most creative artwork. I need to rewatch that show. But yeah, so Back Arrow, I'm digging it. I'm liking it. I'm really glad it's going to be longer. When the only thing I can really complain about is that the mechs aren't quite what I'd want them to be. But the writing and the design work and the style is all good.
Yeah, you're still not happy with the mechs. Have they not grown on you at all?
They're growing on me, but like I wouldn't buy a figure of them.
Okay, that's fair.
Have you seen any of the designs?
I think so. I think I watched the intro after you told me about it.
Yeah, because they've got a figure.
I can see what you meant. It was like they're fine.
Yeah, they're fine. Like, it's not their fault, but they're fine.
Yeah.
But overall,
I didn't shit my pants when I saw them, to be fair.
Yeah. Overall, like, I am really happy with how it's going. And I wasn't expecting to be. I watched it because it had mech in the title. And like, there was a listing, it was under a mecha list, and I was just like, well, I have to watch a mecha thing.
But Mikey, there are so many mecha shows out there.
Yeah, so many options.
Yeah.
And I just Googled it, and the first video is like, is this main character too OP? I guarantee you, person
He's
who
seen
made
a
this
shonen
video,
before.
you forget Shonen. I guarantee you watch an isekai anime that you defend. I guarantee you watch reincarnation of the Slime Show, and I guarantee you will defend that to the hilt. Or Overlord.
Well, 90% of isekais. I won't say all because I think of ReZero and I go, well, not that one. And
technically
then
he's overpowered.
Just in the worst way. And then I also think of like Subaru. Subaru's not overpowered. Sorry, Kazuma. Kazuma's not overpowered.
Kazuma days.
The only thing he's overpowered in his luck, and even then it's like I don't know if he's lucky.
If Kazuma could make use of the allies he would be literally unbeatable.
What if he just didn't have those allies and had better allies?
With the same powers.
Yes.
But he wouldn't be happy. He thinks he would.
He might be happy, but that's the thing. That's the thing. He might be happy, but he might prefer the pain.
No, I always just like if they went away tomorrow, Kazuma would be very happy until he realized he had no one to talk to.
Yes, because everyone thinks he's a degenerate. Because he is. Yeah.
He is a well-meaning, very kind,
terrible person
who set himself up as. Are you laughing with me? Yes. Okay, you're coming with me.
Yep.
So that really, really... Someone just tweeted me about the simple appeal of Thomas.
The tank engine?
I recommend watching this to get an understanding of why Thomas and Friends have a huge fandom.
Is it a video of like Thomas railing like the Fat Controller? Sexually. Not in a violent manner.
It is a 17-minute long video which starts with a picture of that new Thomas that's going around. I might watch this. I'm curious. Anyway, back arrow. Would it be time to start watching it if I was you?
Are you
the first
asking
episode
me?
Ago.
Sorry, that was a rhetorical question. I thought you were specifically asking me.
No, I know how you work, so
okay.
And I would give the first episode a go. I think because there's nothing in there apart from the opening that doesn't work in isolation. And it doesn't have all the best bits in it, but I think it lays the groundwork to at least see if then the way it's structured would work for you, and then maybe give it your usual thing of letting episodes build up. And no, I haven't watched Saber yet because I just look at it and I'm just like, it left a really bad impression when I stopped. Anyway, Andy, what about you?
Oh God, what have I been doing this week? Nothing desperately interesting as ever, just walking as per usual. I did start playing Transformers Devastation again for stream last night. That was fun.
I noticed you don't like trees.
No, well, robots don't breathe, so fuck trees. That is what you call an Andy fact. But yeah, that game's still good. I found it quite punishing as I was playing on Commander and just trying to relearn how to do everything. The Constructicons kept bending me over a pipe and railing me again, as Thomas's want to do, as we have discussed earlier. But no, that's still a fun little game. Apart from that, I did an order yesterday. I won't have them maybe until Monday or Tuesday or something like that. I bought 2 fast tracks. Because they were, instead of being £16 on the Smiths website, they were 12 each, and I was like, yeah, all right, why not? I don't have Scorponok, but I do have the what's his name, Black Orochi, the gold version of Fast Track. How about we just call him Gold Track? That's probably easier. And I was like, oh yeah, well, I like him. If I get 2 more, that's fine. So I picked those up. Like I say, I haven't got them yet, but I'll get them at some point in the future. And in terms of I got Attack on Titan Season 3 Part 1. I'm going to finish that off next week when I get paid by getting Part 2.
Is final Season 3 or 4?
It's 4. 4 is the final season.
Oh, okay.
And that's still going at the moment.
I'm still confused how they're doing that because I don't think the manga's over yet.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it is.
I know because I have a manga update thing in case one of them reading gets updated. I saw an update for Attack on Titan in the last month.
Are you sure this isn't one of those things where it's like, oh, Bleach is over, and then they kept writing?
Don't remind me, please. Don't remind me.
I mean, it could be the same idea behind it, right? I don't know. I mean, but it's at the very least, it's the end of the anime. So, I also watched that this week as well. That was pretty hype. I was like, oh shit, stuff's getting real again. It's entertaining. It keeps me going. And I've been watching season 1. I finished season 1 watching it again last night, and it does have a lot of issue. It is 100% a roller coaster ride. It's really good at doing the high impact action and stuff. When the lulls hit, they are very lully, and it's not good at setting up characters. It introduces a lot of characters and a big wide cast, but it does next to nothing to really develop any of them. It's kind of season 2 where it starts going, okay, let's slow this pace down and let's actually look at some of these characters, while also, well, it's not introducing new characters. It's more like, here are the characters who we've maybe had maybe a minute, 2 minutes of screen time with, so let's actually make them characters and give them backstories and stuff. So it's almost playing catch up with what you'd usually do in an anime. But no, I did enjoy rewatching it. It's still very pretty to look at. It is a very nice show. It's one of the few times where the anime looks better than the manga, because the manga's artwork is not good.
I think the technical term is god awful.
It's yeah, it's
stylized. It's stylized. Sorry,
that's
I'm doing inverted commas.
That's the very nice way to do it. That's for sure. It's almost like I don't know whether it was the case, but it's almost like the Attack on Titan manga is like rushed in terms of its art.
He's never
it's just
done
bad.
Anything like this before.
That might be a thing. But if you like compare the artwork in it to like most other manga, it just doesn't hold up. Like you compare it, like you might hate Berserk as in the anime because the anime is terrible. But if you look at the artwork in the manga, it's like, man, this is pretty.
But that anime, it's a weird thing because like when I Kobayashi, obviously, you know me, I'm a big fan of that show. So I read the manga, and the manga's got a style that's in some ways not dissimilar from Attack on Titan at times.
You mean the manga or the anime? Sorry,
the manga.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's weird because I think because of the energy and everything else, I think visually that manga, the Dragon Maid uses that style a lot better. Which is, maybe it's because like it's ultimately a comedy, and it can do more energetic things with it. But
yeah,
I mean, again, I'm happy you're enjoying it.
Yay! I
am never going back to it, but I am happy you're enjoying it.
That's okay. I wouldn't make you. You're very much set in your ways against it, which is fair enough.
Listen, I know I'm the minority. I know. Believe me, this is one of those times where I know it's not like, oh, there's a secret silent majority who agree with me. No, I know I am the one guy who came away from Attack on Titan, and even after trying the manga and everything else, and just came away just like, what is this shit? How did I'll never understand how it got as popular as it did. I will say that.
I'm not entirely sure how it got as popular. I guess it just hit at the right time, and I think because the season 1 was such a roller coaster, it is easy to get people into it because it hits hard. It goes like at a fucking pace straight away, and it hits you with crazy violence. So it will rope people in with its visuals, and it's very bombastic start very easily. Because I mean that's kind of how Game of Thrones worked as well. It was quite poppy at the start.
It was a very strange thing to come back to come to Game of Thrones 7 seasons in, after everyone else had already watched it and watched it all in bulk. It was a very strange experience.
It really goes down after season 1. Does Game of Thrones?
I
think season 1 holds up and is entertaining.
It was
and
entertaining.
Then it
I will say that
going down.
It was entertaining. But it was I think it was more flawed than people remember.
Probably. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's probably... it came out at the time where it was a bit more unique as well at the time, because it was the trend center of that style of show. But then as soon as season 4 hit, man, it just... it took a nosedive. It jumped off a fucking cliff.
Do you know what the weird thing is? And this is entirely because of the basis of finally something's fucking happening. Season 7 is probably my favorite. Because something happens. Well, okay. But things happen. Like, the plot things that they said were going to happen in episode 1 of season 1 happen.
Yeah, I think people got annoyed with it because it happened in a really crappy way, which no one liked.
Don't get me started. Well, don't get me started in season 8. I did basically an entire...
Oh, season 8, Jesus.
Like, hey, what's the worst narrative mistakes we can make because it will shock people? All of them. You made all of them. You took one of the most beloved properties of the last decade and ruined it for literally everyone because I couldn't even tell you to watch the good seasons now. Because your investment will not pay off.
No.
At all. Everyone you love will be stupid.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, I mean, the people assumed that the show really dropped in quality because the two people doing it were like, oh, we've got a Star Wars deal, so we don't need to care anymore.
We out.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
like,
yeah, Game of Thrones, though, right?
But it's like when I can tell you from the like, I could have told you in season 6 how to end that show in at least a mildly satisfying way, and without doing the Daenerys goes nuts for no reason.
Yeah, but you're not Hollywood, and Hollywood just Hollywood makes the wrong call. Well, at least in my opinion, makes the wrong call frequently, and I think again you would kind of agree with that, right?
Yeah, and it would I could have ended the show with all the dragons dead, which makes more narrative sense.
Yeah,
but in a better way than one randomly being hit with pinpoint precision from 50 miles away.
Oh, where did those boats come from,
Mikey? Can never ever repeat. Why did they let that one guy get off the job?
Oh my god,
they had dumb. One guy who was a perfect shot, and they had him go clean deck or something.
Yeah. It's the fact that they surprised them in boats and they were in the air. It's like, how? What?
Yeah.
What?
You're on. You can see, and the dragons can see.
Yes.
One of you must have seen that.
Apparently not. It's Game of Thrones, man. Fucking weird, man.
All you had to do was end it on the White Walkers, have their zombie dragon kill the 2 living dragons, and have Daenerys die in the fight.
Yeah.
That's all you had to do.
Yeah.
You get the exact same ending. You can still do your Democracy Lives ending, but now it's like, this makes narrative sense because you've built up to these guys as the ultimate threat. Also,
you think it would be easy.
I never found your one threatening.
You won.
What was her name? Tyrion's sister.
Oh, okay.
I went into this expecting her to be the world's greatest villain. And I came out and just like, she's someone with a small amount of power that she throws around and doesn't use intelligently.
Yeah, I think that was the thing to be scared of, though.
But, like, it was that she had a small amount of power, and then she got big power and did nothing with it. She blew up she blew up one building and was a bit of a bitch.
But more than a bit, to be fair.
And she never accomplished anything in the entire show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think people are going to say she became queen. I could become queen in that world.
I'd like to see that show.
You show up and sit in the chair and say, I'm queen now, and people will literally agree.
I want to see the isekai where Mikey claims the throne.
I am queen of Game of Thrones.
I want to see it. Make it happen.
Do you know what would happen? Probably would make about as much sense.
Oh, God. Well, yeah. I mean,
you know what I've just realized? As someone who didn't like Game of Thrones that much, I'm still this pissed off over season 8.
Yeah, imagine the people who did enjoy it. That's the thing.
Oh, man.
It's fascinating.
I enjoyed watching their videos on it at the time.
Yeah. It made for good content at the very least. I'll agree there.
Angry Joe's was great because he started off trying so hard.
And
so unhappy by the end of it.
Whenever Angry Joe talks about media that isn't video games, it's rough watching.
But I like that because he tried and he failed.
He did.
He couldn't do it. He couldn't. By the end of it, he couldn't pretend it was good.
No, because reality finally sunk in. So apart from that, have I done anything? I think, to be honest, that's about it. Pretty uneventful as per usual. Last week I didn't mention it, but I did watch 2 animes off Amazon Prime, which was Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress. Have you heard of that, Mikey?
Yes, I haven't seen it, but I have heard of it.
It came out around the hype of the first season of Attack on Titan, so it's set in feudal Japan, because why not? But they have steam-powered tanks, not tanks, trains, everything steam-powered, so they have, for some reason, technology. And during this rural period, for some reason, there are super zombies. Why are they super? Because they've got, when you're bitten, you get this impenetrable cage around your heart comes out your chest, and you become super strong and all that kind of jazz. And they got to keep moving and keep going, and it's not a good show. it's not a good show. There is no real interesting characters. There's a very obvious villain who pops up, and as soon as you see him, you're like, you're the villain. And it's like, no, I'm not. And by 2 more episodes in, you're like, oh, well, I was right. He was the villain. What a shock. It's not good. It's, at best, a very standard anime. At best. It's definitely kind of light, bland shonen kind of show. So I wouldn't recommend that. I also watched Erased, the show about a guy. The guy, his mum is killed, and during his elementary school years, a girl and a number of other people killed as well. There seems to be a connection between the two, and for some reason, and it's never explained why or how, he sometimes has the ability to go back in time slightly, but it's almost like it's not like he time travels or something. It's more like if you imagine deja vu, so the thing happens and then boom, he's back to where he was. But there's no explanation of why it happens or when. Primarily, he's in the past trying to make sure that this girl who's killed doesn't die, and then from that point on, figuring out who the bad guy is. The issue with it is, I think this is an issue just with mysteries in general, or mystery shows. When you have a limited cast, it goes from one of two things. It's either a character in the cast already, or it's a person who we've never seen before. And you got to build down what would make more sense. Is it someone in the cast, or is it someone we've never seen before? And I figured it out fairly quickly. And it's probably this guy.
Going to say, is it structured so like is it like a detective mystery where you're supposed to figure out who's, like, the viewer is supposed to be thinking at the same time and be able to try and guess who it is? I kind of hope
not. I don't. In some ways, I don't think it's meant to be like that. I think it's not meant to be about. I want to believe so because it was so easy to figure out. I want to believe it was more about the characters more so than it was figuring out stuff. I will give it this: if you liked stuff like what was the anime movie about the My Name, Your Name?
Yeah.
Your Name, those kind of films, that kind of style, the emotional kind of character stuff. I think this kind of resonates in the same area as that. So I think if you like those movies, you'll probably enjoy this as well. It's not quite as emotional, but it has that. I got the same feeling I did from watching the both of them. So yeah, I'd say give that a crack at the very least. And yeah, that's been it. As I let the 2 animes Mikey's watching, ReZero and Back Arrow.
Yep.
Back or back?
Back Arrow.
Back
because
Arrow.
They see his back,
build
and that he ruined their life like an arrow.
Oof.
And he decided to call himself Back Arrow.
Oof, that's 90s.
He's a unique individual.
Well, they usually are in anime. I'll give him that. So, Mr. Mikey, do we have any questions then for this week? Oh, I did a podcast at the Patreon show, didn't I?
You were doing. Oh, I was going to say you were doing one today as well, weren't you?
No, I was doing I was doing a Patreon show with Grufflock, but that was for his show. Not for us. But yeah, I did the Fluff and Hammer where we talked about Warhammer Monthly. So that'll be up on the Fluff and Hammers page. You can find them on Facebook and lots of places. And this week I put up what I don't like or why I dislike Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I talked for about an hour there and laid out some points. I started off with the things I liked about the game and then explained why I didn't personally enjoy it. But I accept it is a good game. I just have issues with it. And those issues will either be added to or negated when the next game comes out. So, I think there was one thing I was going to mention that I forgot to mention in the show, but I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, which is annoying. Oh, no, I remember. The other issue I had with it, which I didn't mention in the podcast, which I'll mention here, is I think, and Mikey can probably confirm this to me, I think the guy that's doing it or controlling the story is the guy that did Kingdom Hearts, right?
I don't know about Kingdom Hearts. He's the guy from the original game.
Okay, I think someone from Kingdom Hearts is involved.
Oh, almost certainly, because it's Square Enix.
That's the thing. And
originally it was outsourced, and then they didn't like what they were doing with it, so they pulled it back into Square.
Yeah, it's kind of what should have happened with Resident Evil 3, but unfortunately didn't.
Yes, and will be happening with Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, it would actually. I don't know. They might not do it.
No, they've already apparently.
I heard that they pulled it back in, which is why it was delayed.
there's one of these rumors, which is like not a rumor, which is like Resident Evil 4, which hasn't technically been announced, but everyone knew they were working on, was taken off the guys who were doing Resident Evil 3 and put back under in-house talent.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And apparently the guys who were doing Resident Evil 3 were not happy about that.
Well, maybe they should have made a better game.
Oh! I'm curious about that one, because I remember Resident Evil 3 not being very Resident Evil-y in many ways. So I wonder
do you mean the original game?
Yeah. I wonder if part of that might have been like the more action-focused nature of the game.
I think people had issue because I know Maximilian talked about it. That he said like the first part of the game was really good, and then it stops and becomes very kind of narrowed and focused, rather than having the kind of open stuff to it, which the earlier part of the game had, or something like that. You can go to Maximilian's Stew channel. It's somewhere in his video backlog at this point, so you can have a look at it there. But yeah, the reason I brought up Kingdom Hearts is my concern with what happens at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake. They could go down a Kingdom Hearts route. And Mikey, how comprehensive is the Kingdom Hearts story? It's what we call a fucking clusterfuck.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly.
And that's why, if there's anyone involved in the story working on Final Fantasy VII Remake, seeing how Final Fantasy VII Remake ended, I think should make everybody concerned.
I liked it. That's what I liked.
Did you like Kingdom Hearts?
No, but this felt
Then
better.
You should be concerned. You said it feels better, but that's only on the very small amount that they actually did, which was new. There's not enough there to be like I think a lot of people like it because it could potentially be interesting. My concern is if it's Kingdom Hearts related, it could also potentially get really fucking messy and crappy and convoluted.
I saw people get really fucking terrified a few months back when they just came out and said like straight like, yeah, it turns out it's actually a sequel.
Yeah, which was they did kind of lie as well, because they go remake and they made it seem like it was a remake, and it's more Final Fantasy 7.5.
It's officially the next in the compilation of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So, which no one expected it to be. But...
No, well, I mean, that's not how they marketed it. They didn't market it as that either.
Yeah, which like I always like as someone who really enjoyed it and everything else, I found it very interesting to watch the reactions of the people on it when we found that out. Mm-hmm. Because like now people come to it a bit more academically, like either they like the ideas or they're like you and they don't like it, or they think about the people behind it or where it could go. There it was like gut reactions. It was, I love this, I hate this, and that was really interesting to see at the time.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. But there you go. That's that stuff. So, Mikey, before I interrupted you, I was going to ask you, did you have any questions from the Moonbase audience? So
no, we're good for on my side this week.
All right, let me head over to the Facebook page because we got some messages, or at least a massage.
Don't send us a massage on Facebook. It's
too
rude.
Late. It's been done. Massage.
I don't want a massage.
Excuse me. Okay, Christoph sent a message. Nah, Andy, that was the real dub for Keroro I shared. I know it's hard to tell when Natsumi, the Gaz analog, calls him a frogtard. Speaking of whack-ass dubs, have you heard... I'll ask this to Mikey. Mikey, have you heard of the infamous Ghost Stories dub? No shit's ever given there. Have you heard of Ghost Stories?
Oh, God!
It's the weirdest fucking dub ever. They didn't give a fuck.
It's the one dub I have... That and Excel Saga.
Yeah,
Excel Saga I just think is a decent dub, especially for the time, because holy shit.
Okay.
But have you seen the Ghost Stories dub?
I've seen clips of it. It's the best dub.
Do you know the story behind the Ghost Stories dub?
Wasn't it that they weren't sent the script and they just had to make up something and they were just like, whatever. They just didn't care.
Ghost Stories, right? Ghost Stories was an anime, which was a pretty standard for its time ghost detective story, right?
That's right, yeah.
Which did terribly in Japan.
Oh no, this was one of the things where they had to take the license, didn't they?
They took the license, but they were basically said, we need you to take it.
That's right.
We do whatever you want with it, but take it.
Yeah, for those not aware, is one of those deals where they would have gone, okay, we want this show, and they were like, all right, if you want this show, you got to take this one as well. And they're like, fuck.
and they didn't want it.
No,
But they said they'd take it as long as they had complete freedom to do whatever they wanted with the script.
and
it turned out what they wanted to do with the script was not give Samurai Pizza Cats is rewritten.
Yes.
Robotech is rewritten.
Yes.
They're still basically in the wheelhouse.
Yes.
Ghost Stories is fucking insane, and it is something every human being should watch.
I would also say Samurai Pizza Cats is clearly done where they are still trying to write a show for kids, while Ghost Stories is people who probably got either very high or very drunk, not caring.
Both, actually. Both.
Oh, okay. I could see that.
They literally would come into work drunk that day. If they knew they were doing Ghost Stories, they would come in however they fucking wanted and say whatever they fucking wanted, because most of it is fucking ad-libbed.
I would strongly advise people to watch
Yes.
at least maybe not the entire show, but to get a glimpse of it, just watch clips on YouTube. It's a magical experience.
They take the booby like serious character and turn her into an oversexed evangelical.
Yeah.
Or the talking cat mascot is an asshole now. Or the fourth wall isn't broken, it's punched in the dick.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's all like voice actors you'll recognize if you watch dubs, and very familiar people. And this is at a stage in their career when they were doing the job that they had to do.
Yes, very much so.
And this feels like some sort of massive release. Like one moment where they could just lie back and just like, listen, we know anime voice direction at the time is a problem animal and still is. But do what you want. Say what you want. We genuinely don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
Ghost
fun.
Stories is...
It's the best dub. It is
Chef
the best
kiss.
dub. It's the only
Chef
dub
kiss.
that I will ever kind of accept, because I don't like dubs, but that one I'll kind of go, yeah, that's fine. That's an okay one. I'll give you that. But who cares? But who care? Cause holy shit, Super 7 gone nuts and are bringing back 4 real action masters. Yeah, we talked
real,
about that on the
yes,
show.
yes. You can call them action masters again. You don't need my permission. Stop asking me.
Plus Power Rangers and Godzilla, which I think you mentioned as well, didn't you?
I knew about Godzilla. Didn't know they were doing any Power Rangers.
Apparently.
Or actually, do you know what we didn't talk about?
What?
Did you see that Flametoys Megazord?
Yes, I did actually.
Didn't see that coming.
No, it's very much a like if it was in a super robot show and corrupted by, like, it was the old super robot that the villains found and corrupted.
Or it's like, or it's like the like, this is the ancient prototype that we based our modern one off of, or something like that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the hero Megazord, shall we say.
It's
very cool. It's got a great design.
Make me think of Getter a lot.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it does have a lot of Getter qualities to it, yeah. At least some of the more extreme Getters.
Yeah, which is basically like, these are the hero mechs, but it might
Are they, though? Yeah, it might destroy the universe. Maybe. Sure, I can't afford any of that after going all out on the TMNT line, but damn, that's a lot of new Ultimates. Hopeful that won't have any QC issues like I've had to deal with. Also, if that make a party wagon in the style of the Thunder Tank, I'm fucked. I did see that there was there's the Thunder Tanks came out, and I saw Jai talk about it and was like, oh yes, but no. It looks very big and expensive from the small amount I saw of it, so that's neat. We also, I think, did we? Yes, we got a message from the Tentomon. Hang on, is it a new one? He sent a message on the Patreon show, which goes, I'm not so much of I'm also not much for this game, as I'm waiting for the complete edition for PS6, I guess. Or, to be fair, I would say maybe PS7, potentially, for the complete Final Fantasy remake experience.
I
think it's going to take them a while.
I think it's going to take them a while, but when you look at the lifespan of the PS4...
Yeah, I guess
that's a long-lived fucking console.
Yeah, it really depends how long each console's going to live, because the PS4 is the newest one, isn't it? Yeah, it depends.
The PS4 had a much longer lifespan than I do the 2 or the 3.
No, that's true. But who knows if that'll continue or whether like the PS6 will come out.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's going to be a long way off before Final Fantasy Remake's complete. I think we can both agree on that 100%. A long way off.
If I'm in my 40s, I'll be happy.
I'd be surprised. Is it unfair to think like by 2030? I think by 2030 it should be complete.
Well, here's the thing. Like, if they were doing if they were doing the full remake experience, I'd actually say yeah. But if they're going for the trilogy, which like all the stuff has been,
yeah.
Plus, the development should be a bit faster now that they're not stopping halfway through.
Yeah, well,
I could see it in 8 years. I could see it in an 8-year period.
The thing is, I think they're gonna keep updating the technology as they go. So I think that's gonna slow them down again. I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be done by 2025. Like, it's not going to be done by then. Definitely.
I would be surprised if they manage that. I would be surprised and terrified.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening. We could be wrong, but I doubt it. So there's that. Also, Mikey, this is another message. Sweet naive Mikey. That's what I call you when I stroke your hair at night. That's true. Not knowing that there are nightmare waifu threads just waiting for her tall Resident Evil 8 lady boss form to drop. Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
I would have to be very naive not to realize those are out there. Because she won't go away.
No, people are still into that.
Like, the amount of animations I've seen in the last week just scrolling through Twitter. And it's just like, my God.
Yeah, it's gone to the point where she's become so popular that people are complaining about it. So that's when
become Bowsette.
Yeah. As soon as people start complaining about a thing, you know that it's popular.
Yeah.
Because it's hit the wide range of people.
She has entered the zeitgeist, and I really hope she's not disappointing in the game.
I wonder if they'll have to rechange things.
There was a very strange video I saw during the week, which was Markiplier, who I don't watch much anymore. I did used to watch him a fair bit, but I kind of fell out of a lot of the big name YouTubers.
Sure.
He did a 6-minute video, which apparently he said, "I'm making this because my girlfriend just sent me a picture saying, did you know this character was in Resident Evil?"
Okay.
And it basically admitted that he's into very large, strong women.
Okay.
And then did a 6-minute video reacting not to the demo, but to the original trailer that showed her.
Right.
And I think his girlfriend should be considerably worried.
Or annoyed. Or is annoyed.
Or is about to be single. Because either she should leave him, or he's going to run away with the voice actress.
Unless he tries to fob it off as, no, it was just for the video.
For the video.
Yeah.
Why won't you let me in the room, Mark? Why won't you let me in the room?
Please. So there's that. What else was there? Anyway, one last thing about the Lara Croft spin-off game. The first one have what I think is the weirdest and a way saddest DLC of all time. The saddest part is that was the last time we got to play as those guys, whoever those guys are. There was a link sent as well, but that's where we'll have there.
The sad part is what turned me off of the reboot, to be honest.
Was it?
Yeah, because it was a very heavy, violent, sad, everything else. And I was just like...
They were chasing after the Uncharted games. It was clearly based off the Uncharted series.
But they were trying to be more mature.
Yeah, well, that's Uncharted, isn't it?
But Uncharted still has a bit of the Naughty Dog spirit from the old days. The old Naughty Dog spirit.
Yeah.
Of just listen, it's basically Indiana Jones, but I don't want call me crazy. I'm not into seeing someone tortured on screen and then it being played as, and now I'm on a badass rampage. I'm not my thing. Not my thing. Listen. There's a reason I prefer monster violence over human violence in fiction.
Poor Monster Musume.
That I'll make an exception for because that man is made out of fucking armor. And also, you made me so annoyed during the week. Thank you for that.
Oh, with the Netflix live adaptation.
Because I'm just sitting there going they do it.
Yeah, they would. That's the saddest thing. I sent Mikey a photo which had a image of Monster Musume. Then it had it was like the manga, the anime version, and then the Netflix adaptation, which was a man wrestling with a giant snake.
Also, I saw like at least 2 comments saying like, with Ultraman getting a live action thing, can we finally get the Evangelion live action? And one,
No.
I think the Ultraman thing looks fine. I'm not excited over it because it's Ultra, and it's Anno. Those are the 2 things that don't get me excited. And 2, just like, if you like Evangelion, why in God's name would you want a live action version?
And why wouldn't you just be asking for the last movie to come out since it's been delayed again?
Yeah, like, you got
That's
the
for
Attack
that.
on Titan live action movie and you all hated it.
Oof, yeah. I mean, I don't. Is there any good live action adaptations?
I'm sure there are. The Battle Royale, that's live action.
Oh,
That's based in
that's
a
actually
manga.
good. Yeah, that's true. That's
But
decent enough.
There are good ones, but
Not
let
many.
us say that the grander experiences, the
Yeah.
larger experiences, the more out there things, maybe work better in animation.
Maybe.
Because
I'd even
since,
say that for superhero stuff as well. Take on board that, Marvel.
yeah, especially since frequently when they make it for live action, they want to make it grounded.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it needs to look realistic. It's like, but it's not real.
Yeah, I saw that about
not.
there's something in the Godzilla trailer, which I won't spoil in case you're one of the 5 people who's never seen it.
Mhm.
But, and people are saying, like, I don't think they'd ever include that. Why? It's not grounded enough. And I'm just like, it's a fire-breathing monster that weighs more than an aircraft carrier.
Yep.
Who also could probably do simple mathematics. Maybe grounded isn't an issue here.
Perhaps not. I don't know. We're going to have to wrap the podcast up now, Mr. Mikey. So where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter as Irish Paleo, and you can send us a message over on the Moonbase to gmail.com and through the various means that Andy will tell you. I'm tired and my head hurts, so I'm not repeating all the usual stuff.
Mikey's here to be pretty. That's it.
I am here to be pretty, and obviously we need help.
Hell yeah. Well, you can find me on Twitter, CCTFW, YouTube as Cobra Commander TFW. You can find this podcast on Moonbase 2 forums, so on Twitter, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn. We're on YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast as well. You can find us also on the ccbunker.weebly.com. Is that right? .com? Yeah, .com. If you want to get us that way. You can find me as well on Twitch as CCTFW, where I do game streams at 8 o'clock in the evening UK time on a Saturday only, and then the rest of the time it's 11 o'clock in the evening UK time. And if you want to head over to patreon.com/moonbase2, you can do $2 each month and get the extended version of From the Files of Teletran 2, where we talk about, well, at the moment, Marvel Comics primarily. You also get the extended version of it, and you get it a week early. And you also get the Moonbase Woo Woo, where we talk about non-transformery things in more detail, such as the Final Fantasy one. And Mikey has an idea of what he wants to do for this month as well.
It's also basically taking something someone loves and complain about it.
Yes, have you decided if you want people for that, or if you're doing that on your toddles?
I've had the idea, and I need to think, one, if I was doing it on my toddlers, how easy would it be, and who would be good to get in if I was doing it with someone? And I think
it's difficult to cover because of it's a big breadthy thing that you want to cover.
Yeah, but I'd be slightly worried of like bringing people in. It turns a 2-hour show into a 5-hour show.
That's fine. Good content for the people. As long as you know where edits need to be made, that's fine by me. If you do a 5-hour show, damn, that could be split into multiple shows for Patreon. Even better. But yeah, until next week, everybody. Maybe there'll be Transformers news. Maybe there won't be. Until then, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Rock on, children.
You are now leaving Moonbase 2.